Welcome to the Geopol, the show where we break down the world's most pressing geopolitical issues. Today, we're diving into one of Africa's most volatile conflicts, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, or DRC, and South Africa's controversial role in it. This is a story of peacekeeping, politics, and power struggles in one of the world's most resource-rich yet conflict-ridden regions. But as South Africa mourns the loss of 13 of its soldiers in recent clashes, we have to ask, is this mission about peace or something much bigger? The DRC is no stranger to conflict. For decades, this mineral-rich nation has been a battleground for armed groups, fueled by competition over resources like cobalt and gold, materials that power everything from smartphones to electric vehicles. But this isn't just a Congolese problem. Instability in the eastern DRC has ripple effects across Africa and beyond. Neighboring countries like Rwanda and Uganda have been accused of backing rebel groups like M23 to secure their own economic interests. Meanwhile, international powers look on, concerned about regional spillover and the security of global supply chains. Enter South Africa, a key player in African diplomacy and a member of the Southern African Development Community, or SADC. South Africa leads the SADC mission in the DRC, tasked with stabilizing the region. But with mounting casualties and accusations of ulterior motives, is South Africa doing more than just peacekeeping? Let's talk about why South Africa is involved in this conflict to begin with. Officially, Pretoria frames its involvement as a moral obligation to support peace in a fellow African state. President Cyril Ramaphosa recently reiterated that South Africa's military presence is not a declaration of war, but part of a broader effort to safeguard sovereignty and stability in the DRC. But here's where it gets complicated. Rwanda has been accused of actively supporting M23 rebels, whose attacks have led to mass killings and the displacement of thousands. Human rights organizations have warned that Rwanda's involvement is not just about regional power struggles. It is fueling what could amount to genocide in the eastern DRC. South Africa, as a regional power, sees it as a duty to intervene before another large-scale humanitarian crisis unfolds. Critics argue that South Africa's role isn't purely altruistic. The DRC is one of South Africa's major trading partners, particularly for its vast mineral wealth. Could economic interests be driving this mission as much as or more than peacekeeping? At the same time, South Africa's stance against Rwanda has led to diplomatic clashes. Kagame's government has dismissed accusations of supporting genocide and instead accused South Africa of military aggression. This has escalated tensions, risking a deeper diplomatic and military crisis. While politicians debate strategy, it's ordinary soldiers who bear the brunt of these decisions. 13 South African troops were killed last week in clashes with M23 rebels, a devastating loss for their families and for the nation. These deaths highlight glaring issues within the South African National Defence Force. Should South Africa be deploying troops abroad when its own military faces budget cuts and operational challenges at home? And how does this impact public perception back in Pretoria? However, pulling out now could have dire consequences. If Rwanda's backing of M23 continues unchecked, history could repeat itself, with mass atrocities like those seen in the 1994 Rwandan genocide. South Africa's leadership within SADC is a crucial counterbalance against such devastation. The DRC conflict isn't just about South Africa. It's part of a larger regional puzzle involving Rwanda, Uganda, Burundi, and other neighbors. Rwanda has been accused of supporting M23 rebels, while Burundi has its own troops operating in eastern Congo under separate agendas. This fragmented approach makes peace elusive. SADC leaders met just days ago in Harare to discuss solutions, but failed to reach any concrete resolution. Meanwhile, tensions between South Africa and Rwanda threaten to derail any chance of coordinated action. Kagame has openly dismissed South Africa as unfit to mediate or lead peace efforts. But let's be clear, turning a blind eye to Rwanda's role could undo decades of progress in African unity and governance. If South Africa backs down, does it set a precedent where powerful nations can support rebel groups and commit atrocities without consequence? As we wrap up today's episode, let's take stock. South Africa finds itself at a crossroads, caught between its aspirations as a leader in African diplomacy and the harsh realities on the ground in the DRC. The question isn't just whether South Africa should stay involved. It's how it can do so effectively without overextending itself. This requires more than military might. It demands political dialogue, better resource allocation, and perhaps even a rethinking of what peacekeeping really means in such complex conflicts. To our listeners, what do you think? Should South Africa continue its mission in the DRC despite the risks? Or is it time to bring our troops home? Let us know your thoughts on social media using the Geopol DRC. That's all for today on the Geopol. If you found this episode insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.